Hello, my lovely audience, and this is going to be What If Deku Was Rorschach. Now, this is a very fucked what if I'm going to be doing, because of one reason. It's Rorschach. You ever seen Watchmen? Because, dude, this man is going to be, this version of Deku is just going to be fucked. Yes, let's get into it. So, for the beginning, Deku, he's gonna be bullied, abused by his mother, who in this world, she is going to be abusive because he does not have a quirk. And oh boy, is that just wrong. No, he does have a quirk. It's really hard to explain how he's gonna get it. Basically, what his quirk is that he when he picks up a weapon or any type of object that can be used or transformed into a weapon, he instantly knows how to do it and use it. So that's basically how it works. So that's really fun, but it puts a strain on his mental abilities. So that's really just not really that interesting. So, well, it is, but it's just not fun for him. All right. So yeah, he gets abused by his mother, and he's getting beaten by her, and plus Bakugo, who beats the crap out of him. It's not going well. So I would say that when he's coming back home one day, Karma comes back and bites her in the ass, and a villain came in and killed her. It was a robbing, a little bit of a mugging, house invasion robbery, and she was not cooperative at all, and got killed. When Deku comes back, he sees her dead, and immediately he sees this as a chance for him. He kind of wants payback because either way it was his mother. That's how fucked his head is right now. And he kind of runs away at this moment. And I would say news travels really fast, saying, oh, yeah, his mother's dead and no one knows where he is. So some people are thinking maybe he did it, maybe it's all his fault that she's dead. And that's kind of like around the time when Deku, he just hates looking at himself. He hates the sight of his face. So he gets this mask, a white cloth, white, like it was like like a white mask, and he basically put like a Rorschach kind of symbol on it, because we gotta start this somehow. And yeah, he puts it on his face, and he just kind of looks at himself, and that he just thinks that's better. And I'm gonna say that Deku, slowly starting out, starts off just like how he is, with a mask on his face. And he quickly starts looking for the person that killed his mother. And he wants to be a hero. He really does. But he starts out as a vigilante. And he starts out I would say he takes to the streets, and he immediately, whenever someone's like mugging someone, like a villain's mugging someone, he kind of just comes down from like the shadow. It just comes out from the shadows and starts interrogating them while they're doing what they're doing, and says, if you do that, you're going to get hurt. And I would say that the person's gonna be like, what are you gonna do? And that's kind of like when Deku, he kind of just rushes in and punches the man. Now he hasn't worked out that much yet, but it doesn't really do much. But at the same time, it still hurts the dude. So yeah, and I would say he hits him pretty good. And yeah, whole brawl kind of goes out, and he kind of just starts beating down on this villain, but also getting his ass kicked. And I would say that once he beats down on, when he finally takes him down, He's got blood coming out from his he's bloody all over his face. And the mask is kind of like leaking out some blood, which, I'm gonna say that there was no blotches of the black stuff that made like a Rorschach, so I'm gonna just say that his blood kind of oozed out and created blotches like a Rorschach mask, like Rorschach's mask. And oh boy, is this where things get fun. So yeah, he tries to help out the woman, and the woman says, "Get away from me, you quirkless bastard!" Immediately, she runs off, and he kind of sees this world in a black and white view now, saying that everyone is a criminal in their own sense. Everyone's done bad, and he wants to figure out who's not the bad guy. So he ties up the guy, and he finds the knife that the dude had. And immediately, as soon as he picks it up, he just figures out how to use everything about this weapon. And then he throws it at the wall, and it goes right through. It goes right through the, it's like a brick wall, so it's like, so it's like when you know like they stack bricks, like the plaster they use. Yeah, it goes right through the plaster, not the brick. And I'm gonna say that Deku, I think he's kind of getting an understanding of how his quirk is, and that's kind of when he starts slowly. Because I would say that when his mother died, he was only, what would be the age for him? I'd say 7. So he's slowly building an outfit. He gets the fedora sometime by just like taking it off a villain, a scarf from another villain, and the coat just from because it's cold out. He finds it. And how he gets food, he kind of just steals it, because in his eyes everyone is bad, so they don't deserve what they're giving. And yeah, his whole like ideas are kind of really messed up, but he still believes that All Might is the true hero that this world needs, and that everyone should at least follow his viewpoint. And he ain't wrong. The dude is pretty much a fucking hero. Like, goddamn. All right. Now for the fun part. So I'm gonna say we're gonna skip ahead, and I'm gonna say Deku is learning more how to use his abilities, like freaking hairspray and a lighter he has now, and he's burning down villains. And I'd say he's getting noticed a lot now as the Rorschach. They're calling him Rorschach, because the blotches on his mask, and he doesn't really take that thing off. He only takes it like he only lifts it up to eat, and that's about it. He only does, like, I think he does take it off, but only to ever like fix his injuries on his face, and he's getting pretty good at that. And I'd say he worked out a shitload while this is all going on, so he's got a very ripped kind of body. And I'm gonna say that he's been beating down on villains quite a lot. Deku has changed so much. From thinking that the world is all corrupt, he's encountered some people who are actually caring and nice, saying thank you. And he thinks it's mainly because everybody sees that his quirk is, he has a quirk. And he kind of just walks it off and sends the villains to the police. And he's just beating down on these crooks. Sometimes heroes actually like try to get to... They think, oh, we got this villain. They turn the corner, and Rorschach's there, and they beat him up, and he disappears. Yeah, he kind of works like a shinobi though, kind of, because he's using whatever is around him as a weapon. So any blunt object can be turned into a weapon for him. So it's basically like that. And he's also learned his own like little fighting style. It's kind of like boxing, just 10 times worse. And kind of has a little grappling style to it, where he basically breaks the person's arms. He's been reading a lot too, going to libraries and stuff. not dressed up as Rorschach, but just with a hood on and all that. And he's been he's been really doing a lot of research and reading, and he would be probably at college level education because of how far he is. But math wise, like he doesn't really need it. But he does. I would say he doesn't really think he needs it, but he's pretty damn good at it. And I'm gonna say that his quirk is kind of like turned into a really powerful quirk at the same time, where he can actually he wears lead gloves now. He kind of found them off of a villain that had them, and he kind of just took them, and now he uses those, and he kind of just puts them on whenever there's a villain fighting, and yeah, that's kind of how it works. He already has like gloves on, but those are kind of like pretty bad and bad shape, and yeah, so he just puts those on, and then boom, he knows how to fight like a god. um, I'm gonna say that Deku, though, Jesus, he is brutal right now. I'm gonna say that he also made a grappling hook. Rorschach had one in the Watchmen movie and comics, so let's give him one. And I'm gonna say that he made that himself, off of what he could scavenge and stuff like that, and he made it just based on his own design. I'm gonna say that yeah, Deku is like straight up a badass here. He's still wearing the mask that he got, but I'm gonna say that he just recently made a mask and it's got ink blotches. It stinks like hell, but hey, that's his face now. And I would say that, let's see. I'm gonna say that right when the Sledgehammer attack happens, I'm gonna say that Deku, he kind of fights the villain. He's like walking, just to like do his average patrolling, and no one really notices him. Really, the mask doesn't really stand out to many people, and mainly because he has his head down and no one really notices him. And he's kind of got like a trench coat on, and no one really notices him. And he's pretty tall for his age because of how much he's worked out. So yeah, people think he's like a young adult, really, like 18 years old when he's really 15. He's had a lot of growth spurts because he's been eating a lot of really healthy food, basically beans, a lot of beans, and a lot of veggies too, and lots of protein, lots of protein. But yeah, he's eating a lot of beans. He loves beans, and he'll eat them straight out of the can. Doesn't cook them, just eats them straight out of the can. And what ended up happening is, I would say, when the Sledgehammer attacks him, Deku pulls out some hairspray that he has on him in his lighter and burns the crap out of the villain, keeping it backed away. This is like kind of the first time he's ever encountered a villain of this caliber. And I would say he holds him off until All Might shows up and smashes him. And I would say that this is when Deku, he kind of, this is like his once and only chance he's ever met All Might throughout his whole career of vigilantism. And I'm going to say that All Might, he kind of doesn't really know Rorschach because he doesn't really keep up with all of the whole stuff, but he's kind of he's heard of the name, just doesn't really know of him. Like, he doesn't know what he looks like. And he kind of, like, when he sees the mask, he's like, oh, wait, that's the Rorschach, right? That's why they call him Rorschach. And kind of that's when All Might kind of just went ahead and he goes up to Deku and says, I've heard a lot about you. What you're doing isn't great, and you have a lot of potential as a hero. Why don't you quit what you're doing, join UA, and, well, you become a hero there. And he didn't really think of this. Deku's never thought about joining UA, but he does want to become a hero. And thinking about it now, he thinks maybe doing UA would be a smart idea. But then he thought that he has no one to help him out with it. Like, he has no one there for him. And I would say Deku says that he's got no one to pay for the tuition and all that. And I'd say All Might says that he needs to take care of the villain real quick. If he can wait here, and he can continue the conversation. Basically that's what happens. He runs off, goes to the police, delivers the villain, comes back in a more buffed form after an hour or two, and they talk about the whole situation. And I'd say Deku gets kind of emotional, and he explains his whole situation. I'm gonna say that All Might kind of he feels bad, like real bad, knowing that this world that's how messed up this world can be, knowing that someone could treat someone so horribly for not having a quirk when really they did have a quirk, just it didn't present itself because of how strange and really hard to awaken a type of quirk is. And the idea that was just happening just did not sound right at all. He didn't like the fact that someone so young had to go through this. And he kind of realizes that Deku might be a little crazy, but at the same time, someone that's hurt and is this young can still be helped and saved. And that's kind of what just happens. He says that, would you like to stay with me? It doesn't matter for how long, just for you to have someone to be there for you and to just help you give up this whole crusade of yours. And he agrees to it. I'm gonna say that for the whole months and all that, I would say he learns of All Might's identity really fast. And I'm gonna say that when he learns of All Might's identity, having this whole quirk and all that, he doesn't really think much of it. He thinks it's interesting. So he does research on the quirk, because why not? And in this life, he's kind of done some detective work before. He solved murder crimes and stuff like that no one else had thought of. And he's written up how the person did it and all the evidence that the person has had. He's a really smart person. He's done a lot of work, and I'd say that All Might thinks that he found a great successor for his quirk. And I'm going to say that he gives his quirk to Deku. Seeing how he's already got a fit body, he will definitely be perfect candidate for this. And yeah, he gives Deku the quirk. And Deku accepts it, saying that the quirk is interesting and also something that he thinks that he would be alright without. I'm going to say that doesn't get it. He denies it. And that it should go to someone who is going to become a great hero. Someone who doesn't have goals just to become famous. Someone that will become a great hero. And I'm going to say that the person that they'll give it to is probably Ida, but most likely it's going to be Ida. So, yeah, Deku has just become, he kind of just said no to that, but he's going to say this, what you've already given me is enough to say that you are the only person that ever could have done something like this. You are a true hero, and my hero. And I'm going to say that is where Deku, I'm gonna leave it off here. Yeah, maybe. No, you know what? No, I'm not gonna leave it off here. I'm gonna say that he gets seeing how he wants to go to UA and it's gonna be hard for him on the entrance exam. I'm gonna say that he was the request little thing for the entrance exam. That's what he got, and I'm gonna say that he's going to be getting a special type of assessment, a little test, and that's gonna be like a few days before the UA exam. And that's because he was talking with Nezu about it, and that's kind of when Deku comes in, and he definitely he's gotten a little bit of, they've talked about, like, why not get some therapy, and he says, no, this is how he doesn't want it, he doesn't need it, it would just get in the way, and he just wears the mask, that's his that will always be his face, and that's when he goes to the assessment, they're testing to see how his quirk works, how long he can keep it up, and also how long he can physically endure the side effects. And he lasts literally 10 hours with the quirk. They were testing it and it took forever. He used almost every single type of weapon, even guns. And yeah, he's really, really skilled in it. He was like doing dead shot work, like with the guns, but he preferred more stuff that was like all over the place. And Nezu kind of like saw this as an amazing quirk that was perfect for hero work, because not only was he the hero that could actually be using stuff around him, but also he didn't need combat training. He just needed to know how to utilize a plan, and he's already got that kind of down. He's done detective work, so he's going to be perfect for figuring this out. And yeah, it's pretty impressive that he's even going to be joining UA, because he's Rorschach. He is the vigilante Rorschach. And yes, he was doing it illegally, but at the same time, he was a minor, and they can easily say that the vigilante Rorschach was doing it for his own personal crusade. He didn't really have a good life, therefore sending him down this horrible path. And by the way, the art that I'm using here that's for it, I don't own it, so don't sue me, please. I'm just using it just for this video. And maybe more future videos to come, because it's great art. So, yeah. Yeah, anyways, yeah, they're impressed. And the heroes there, like Aizawa, they're all amazed. And they also saw that some of the fighting styles that Deku has used with his quirk are kind of like imprinted in his brain. So he's able to remember how to do certain things even without his quirk. And that's just impressive. So Aizawa kind of would prove useful, but at the same time useless. Because yes, a new type of weapon, it's going to be hard for him to know how to use it without the quirk. But at the same time, older weapons like knives, baseball bats, and his lead gloves, he's going to be able to use everything. And they even tested it on Aizawa's cloth. Yeah, he was able to use it better than Aizawa. So, yeah, Aizawa was even a little shocked. And they were like, yeah, we're getting you in UA class A1, canon class, because awesomeness. And they're really impressed. And they had Deku do a little fitness exam, and immediately it was like Aizawa's little fitness exam, and Deku nailed it. He was like an athlete, and seeing how he's always chased criminals on the streets and on rooftops, he was because remember, he's got a grappling hook. he was perfect for this. And his hero suit, they're just going to be improving his hero suit, his vigilante suit, a little bit, and that is they're giving him body armor. And just through a few days, he's lived with All Might for those days, but now they're setting up a single dorm for him because they want him to be on campus, so that way it's easy going for him because they know how bad it is, and they're gonna try and set up a counseling kind of system, just try and like make sure his mental health is okay. But at the same time, Nezu kind of sees where he's coming from, and pretty much tries and abolishes the idea because how he is right now, if they mess with that, they're messing with how he can actually operate. And yes, it may not sound right, but at the same time, if he's going to be a great hero, he needs to handle it on his own. And All Might agrees with it. Is he pretty much brings up the idea as well, and they're both him and Nezu are kind of like thought about this a lot. He operates already great. He doesn't pose a danger to anyone, not even himself. And he's just, how he sees the world is just the problem. That's all it is. But at the same time, that can change over time. The class that he's going to be going into are filled with fingers, the bendy fingers, like the two bendy fingers, good kids. You know what I mean? Quote unquote, good kids. And yeah, they're going to see how that works. And I'm going to say that Deku, he's already in the whole class idea system already. So I'm going to say that when they even did like a little tests, like exams, just to see where he was. He came in on the day for the exams because they wanted to see what his IQ was like, his overall, everything about him and all that. He got 2 tests that day, written exams. First one was the actual written exam that everybody else had to do, and he got first place on that. On the second written exam, he got an IQ that was above, he was actually, he had like a 200 IQ, so pretty high. Like, he was able to answer some questions only Nezu could answer, and that was just some of them. But that's because he's been doing so many field work and so much detective work. His mental IQ is just insane, and he's been able to figure out people like puzzles and stuff like this. And there's been so many villains he's encountered. He's kind of been able to figure out the weakness and all that to every single one. He's already basically a hero, just he needs his license. That's all he needs. And that's what's going to be really fun here. And yeah, this is going to be real fun. So yeah, let's get to the real fun parts. I'm going to say that the whole thing with Raka, it's not going to happen where she gets almost crushed. No, I'm going to say it does happen, but I'm going to say that Deku is supervising the whole entire thing when he's done with the test, and he gets done with it early. And I'm going to say that when he's going by the windows to see everyone doing their whole thing, and he sees Araka trapped, what does he do? He sees the robots coming, and the immediate amount of time he has is about less than a minute. Actually, I would say it's about a minute and 30 seconds before the until she gets crushed, and he smashes the window immediately. The supervisors and all that, the heroes all see him, and they kind of see him just jump out the window, shooting a grappling hook and repelling straight over towards where Araka is. He breaks off the grappling hook, smacks right into the ground, taking a nice roll, and immediately is in front of Araka at pretty much a very insane time. And this is kind of how they figure out, oh crap, so this is how he's been able to get around. And he's always carried the grappling hook on him all the time because he never knows when it's going to be important to have it. And he immediately gets her out of there and immediately grapple hooks away. And I would say that they don't really count the points for him, but they give the points that they don't really count the points for her at all. They don't. Well, they do count the points for her. It's just they don't count the points for Deku at all. But they would. I would say that some of the heroes are like, this kid's amazing. This kid's real amazing. And that's kind of like when people see the mask. I'd say a few kids are recognizing it. Rocket doesn't. That's Rorschach. And there was talk about Rorschach joining UA, the famous vigilante Rorschach joining UA. And it looks like it's confirmed. Everyone's like freaking out, and that's kind of like when the exam ends. Everyone's freaking out, and that's kind of like when Deku kind of like comes down, repelling with the grappling hook, with Raka. And yeah, that's kind of like everybody's freaking out. Everybody's like, "Whoa, this is so cool!" And yeah, so yeah, that's I'm gonna leave it off here, but I'm gonna say that when they get to the class, when he gets to like class 1A, he's the first one there, and he knows Aizawa is sleeping under the desk because that's normally what he does. And yeah, so he's just in there, and when everybody else comes in, he recognizes one face, and that's Bakugo. He clenches his fists, and he wants to punch him, but he knows if he did, he'd get in trouble for it. So he just waits, and that's when Araka kind of comes in and just says, thank you for helping me and saving me and all that." And he says it's no problem. It's just what a hero does. And I would say a few people hear that and they're like, "Wow, dude, this guy's real hardcore." And they've heard from the news that he's like hardcore, like straight up the most terrifying man you'd ever meet. But at the same time, like he's just superhero like he's got a hero soul. I'd say even Bakugo is kind of like just amazed by that. He's just like, wow, it's pretty impressive. And yeah, so I'm gonna leave it off here. Next is the little fitness, Aizawa's fitness exam, and a bunch of other stuff that we all know and love. So yeah, have a good day and a good night, everyone, and stay safe. COVID-19's out there. Stay safe.